Well, our band this week is Your Heart Breaks, and it is from the very talented Clyde Petersen.
Hello.
Welcome to Art Zone.
Thanks, Nancy.
Glad to have you here. Now, before we get into the music, I want our audience to understand the scope of your artistic practice, okay? So first of all, filmmaker and animator, and put out Torrey Pines. And what year was that?
2016.
2016?
Yeah.
And it was basically about your life.
Yeah,
right?
it was an autobiographical stop-motion animated film.
Yep, absolutely fantastic. Also, you've got a series online, and it's called Boating with Clyde. And where do you shoot that?
I shoot that in the Lake Washington Arboretum.
Okay.
It's kind of like Art Zone, but in a tiny boat. And it's a lot more chaotic.
Yeah, I have to be on your show sometime.
I would love that.
Okay, I'll come on. And then there is also your visual art practice, and you have an incredible solo show at Bellevue Arts Museum, and it's called
Merch and Destroy.
Is that a reference to Iggy Pop?
It is,
Right.
indeed, to search and destroy, yeah.
And what is in that show? I mean, it's kind of like about a band, basically.
Yeah, it's about being a touring artist on the road. There's a larger-than-life-size Ford Econoline van built entirely out of cardboard.
Yeah.
And a ton of gear falling out of it, and a green room that is very offensive to some people.
Because green rooms can be.
As they are, often,
Right.
yeah.
And you were a tour manager for punk bands for like 20 years.
Yeah,
Or so.
as soon as I got out of college, I just hopped in a van and
You started going.
kind of been there ever since. So.
Which is where Your Heart Breaks, you came out of Bellingham 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Punk band, and you've been touring ever since. Do you still consider yourself a punk band?
You know, I think from like the DIY ethos, we are a punk band. We don't quite sound punk. We're entering a folk drone era.
Well, yeah, because the new record, I mean, you put out 8 records since 1999. Number 9 is coming out, Drone Butch Blues.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it's kind of a concept record, I know, and because there's no drums, right? So tell me a little bit about what's the heart of that.
Well, the heart of the record, you know, it's a pun on a book called Stone Butch Blues by Leslie Feinberg about growing up queer in the 50s. And the whole record is about kind of gay and queer scenes before AIDS. And just based on literature and oral histories of people, yeah.
And there's a drone in every, there's a drone track
Yeah, there's
in every
a drone
song.
track in every song. It might be like a gong or some strings, like
Yeah.
Laurie Goldstein plays a cello a lot on it. Yeah.
So that's where the percussion comes, the rhythm
Yeah,
comes.
we have some percussion in that. More like textural percussion than rhythmic.
Textural, okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to play us a couple of songs from the record.
I am.
And what would you like to play first?
I would like to play Late Nights in the Lab for you
All
guys.
right, Late Nights in the Lab. Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready to rock this.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, Your Heart Breaks.
I was 17, a student at the experimental college. Late nights in the lab, A-B roll edits, living off Luckies and marijuana. A young party monster looking for trouble, driving down the I-5 to get to a show, or the reservation liquor when the others were closed. Whiskey for my coffee for my early class, queer poli-sci a little over my head. I remember you, a teacher at the experimental college, a tough queer femme with a political edge, hell-bent on the ideals of social justice, teaching ecofeminist documentary production. Must have been lonely in that small town. You must have wanted so badly just to get the hell out. A single gay bar with a single drag queen, surrounded by your students with fake IDs. We sat that night after class, late in the lab. You shuffled the papers from the students into one neat little stack and made a note on a list. Tapes you loaned out, these were just the little things friends from the times we hung out. I admit I had a crush that I slowly got over. I know I had questions like, had I been older? In the back of my mind, in the video lab, there's a knock on the door and you're holding a six-pack. 'Cause I'm 17 at experimental college, late nights in the lab, A-B roll edits, living off Lucky's and marijuana. A shy queer kid looking for a role model. 17 at experimental college, late nights in the lab, A-B roll edits, living off Lucky's and marijuana. A shy queer kid looking for a role model.